All right, what's up? First Alert Meteorologist Fred Campagna keeping an eye on a very active weather day here, right? So it hasn't been too active so far, but it is about to get active, particularly first in eastern Alabama, West Georgia, and then moving into the metro later on during this evening. So tornado watch was just issued for part of our area. You can see that here as we have several counties west of Atlanta that are under a tornado watch. Let's zoom in a little bit and talk about who is under a tornado watch until 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, this doesn't mean that tornadoes are imminent, but it does mean that conditions are favorable for tornadoes to develop. So Cleburne, Randolph counties in Alabama, and then we go from Chattooga to Floyd to Polk and Haralson and Carroll, and as well as Troup County is included in that as well. Heard County also in it. Looks like Douglas County. Paulding County is in there. We've got Bartow County, and it looks like Gordon County as well, also in the tornado watch, which is in effect until 3 o'clock in the morning. So that right now does not extend into Cobb or into Fulton or DeKalb or Gwinnett counties, as well as south of Atlanta, but we have a tornado watch in effect for part of our area. Let's take a look at what's going on. We're going to spend a few minutes here going through the radar, through the setup, through our severe weather risks, through the potential for there to be tornadoes during these overnight hours. Outside right now, it's very mild. It's a little bit humid. It's not super humid. Temperatures at this point are in the mid-70s outside, and there are a couple of showers showing up in northwest Georgia, but it's really what's happening off to our west that we're keeping an eye on. And in particular, as you get down around Montgomery, Alabama. So I'll circle that for you right in here. So this is the area that we're keeping an eye on. As that moves off to the northeast, that has the greatest potential, I think, to develop into some strong to severe storms and possibly move into our area over the next several hours. So still a little ways away. You know, eastern Alabama, Cleburne, Randolph counties, I think you could see a little bit of action coming your way by 10, 11 o'clock this evening. West Georgia, about the same time frame, and then into the metro, 11 o'clock midnight or so. So we'll continue to keep an eye on this. Right now, there is one tornado warning. It's not in our area, but it is a cell that has been producing at least funnel clouds when it was in northern Alabama. Now it's into Tennessee, and you can see that it's going to move northwest of Chattanooga. So that's not one that we're concerned about, but the conditions are pretty ripe here from Birmingham and south to around Montgomery and extending over areas in North Georgia for there to be some strong to severe storms coming through overnight. So again, just to reiterate, that tornado watch, this is the part of our viewing area that is under a tornado watch. So it does, of course, include a lot of eastern Alabama, but you know, we have Cleburne and Randolph counties in our viewing area. So our severe weather outlook as we go through the overnight hours is a level 3 out of 5 for a good chunk of the Atlanta metro, except for the far northern suburbs and east of Atlanta. So most of Gwinnett County is not under that level 3, but you're under a level 2, which is still means you need to be really weather aware overnight. And West Georgia in particular is under that level 3 risk of severe weather. What I want to show you here is, let's see if I can find it real quick. I want to show you the tornado risk overnight. So this is kind of a tough graphic to understand, but I think if I can explain it for you, you will. So when we look here at the area that's shaded in yellow, that area has a 10% chance of seeing a tornado within 25 miles of where you live. So go 25 miles in all directions around where you live, and there's a 10% chance, a 1 in 10 chance that there will be a tornado within those 25 miles during the overnight hours. Again, it's not a high risk, but most of the time that risk is 0. So 10% around here is actually relatively high. The area is shaded in brown, it's 5% risk. But then you see all those dashes in there, all those hash marks. What do those mean? Well, that means that the conditions are ripe that if a tornado develops, it has the potential to become at least an EF2 tornado. So EF2 tornadoes, those are fairly strong, right? You start to get EF2 tornadoes, you're looking at pretty significant damage from tornadoes that strong, and they could be even stronger than that. So I should really know this off the top of my head, but I will tell you Now, after looking at it, EF2 is 111 to 135 mile per hour winds. So we're not talking about a quick little spin up with 65 to 85 mile an hour winds like an EF0. An EF2 is capable of doing considerable damage. Now, it doesn't mean that there will be widespread tornadoes across North Georgia tonight, but there is a risk of tornadoes, and any that develop could be on the stronger side. Let's talk about the timing of all of this. Well, actually, I want to show you a few more of our weather risks, and then we'll talk about the timing. Aside from tornadoes, we could have straight line damaging winds. 60+ mile per hour winds are possible in any severe thunderstorms that come through. So you can get, with the storms that are coming our way, some stronger straight line winds. 1 to 2 inch hail is possible in the storms that are coming our way. We don't often see hail much over an inch in North Georgia, but the potential is there anyway. If we do get some really strong storms developing, severe storms tonight, that we could see hail on that order. All right, let's go through tonight and talk about the timing. So you can see here, this is our forecast radar, and the first alert weather day continues through tonight. Notice over the bottom left-hand side of this screen, you can see that there are some storms showing up 9 o'clock this evening. Those are the ones that are over Montgomery right now. Watch where they head. They lift to the north and to the east, and generally into West Georgia over the next several hours. So by 11 o'clock this evening, cannot rule out some activity around the metro, but most of it's still in West Georgia. It's the risk in the metro increases a little bit. Of course, now my session is dead. So we're stuck on this map right here. But this is midnight. Notice how there are storms around the metro. Notice how there's still action showing up in the eastern part of Alabama. All right, so I have my connection back here. So this has moved me all the way through. We'll go to 1 o'clock in the morning. So things might get loud at that point around the Atlanta metro area. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. But by 3, 4 o'clock, it is going to continue moving off to the east. So with that in mind, the severe weather threat is really during the dark of night. And if you're watching on YouTube, and you don't have the First Alert Weather app downloaded, you definitely want to get that downloaded, turn those alerts on so you can be alerted to any severe thunderstorms or tornadoes that are coming through our area. Notice how things clear out by 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. A lingering shower possible from Athens down to Eatonton, but skies will actually be clearing by sunrise tomorrow in Atlanta. And then the story tomorrow will be a gusty breeze and much, much cooler temperatures. We were low 80s this afternoon. We got to say so long to the low 80s for quite some time, it looks like, around here, as the weather is not going to be very warm at all for April as we go through the mid to end of the work week. I want to flash up the 7-day forecast here while I check out some of your comments on YouTube, see if there's any questions that I can answer. So there's what the forecast looks like. After today, it's pretty quiet. I do want to note that Monday is the Great American Eclipse. We get a partial eclipse here in North Georgia. However, we may have some cloud cover to fight through on Monday, so we'll keep that in mind. So Wesley's checking in from Ackworth. What's up, Wesley? Alex is in from East Point. Yeah, so Austin's asking about if he's going to get a tornado warning. And again, you know, that's impossible to say. It's impossible to say for any county in particular, you know, when the tornado warning could come, if the tornado warning is going to come. And that's why you get put, you're not under a tornado watch right now, Austin, in Henry County, but you should also be weather aware overnight tonight. Any storms that are coming through North Georgia could have the potential to produce a tornado. If we could let you know, hey, Henry County, it's going to be 1:30 a.m., you'll be under a tornado warning. Believe me, we would let you know that. But the science just hasn't evolved to that point, and frankly, it probably never will because there's just too much atmosphere up there and no way for us to adequately sample the entire thing all the time. So when you consider how we're able to sample the atmosphere and then put it into these computer models, the forecasts that we're able to give you are actually very accurate considering how chaotic, in the truest sense of the word, the atmosphere actually is up above us. Yeah, so Wesley pointed out about level 5. Tanya was asking about a level 5 of severe. Yeah, level 5 of severe, you don't see that very often at all. As far as this evening goes, I can tell you that there are areas that are under a level 4 risk, not here in North Georgia. Let me back this map out for you, and you'll see that Cincinnati area, southern Ohio, southwestern Ohio, northern Kentucky, southeastern Indiana. Those are the areas that are under a level 4 risk of severe weather. Here in North Georgia, it's a level 2 and a level 3 risk. So let's hope we don't see a 4 or 5 anytime soon here in North Georgia. All right. So Merrick was watching the trends, says I don't think there will be any large tornadoes. And Merrick, I definitely appreciate your input there. And to be honest with you, I do agree, but it's not like, we also always wrestle with this a little bit in the Weather Center, right? Because there's a Storm Prediction Center which puts out the outlooks like you're seeing right now on the screen, and there's a lot of people working there, and their main focus is on severe convective storms, these thunderstorms that can produce tornadoes. So when they say a level 3 risk, we have to honor that. We have to respect the fact that that's what they do for a living, is predict severe storms. I'm looking at the data. I don't think it's quite to a level 3 risk over all of North Georgia. I think a level 2 might be appropriate, but I still think that people should be weather aware during the overnight hours and just know that a tornado could happen. Again, I might not think the risk is as high as some of the people at the Storm Prediction Center think that it is, but I'm not going to discount it either. Back when I worked in the Northeast and we were talking about snowstorms, something very tangible, something that you can see very easily, there were times where other TV outlets or National Weather Service or somebody else was predicting a big snowstorm, and I had no problem whatsoever saying, you know what, I just don't think it's going to be a big snowstorm because the risk of putting my forecast out there is not as great as it is in a tornado situation. So I do respect what they do at the Storm Prediction Center quite a bit, and that's why, even though we may not think that the risk is as high as they think it is, we still don't want people to have a false sense of security about what the weather might be like during the overnight hours tonight. So again, there is the potential for some severe storms to come moving through. All right. Tanya's asking about long track tornadoes. Again, that all comes into play on a night like this. We are into the severe weather season here in North Georgia. This is the month historically in North Georgia when we see the most tornadoes. These totals are from 1884 to 2014, so this graphic is now 10 years old. You know, at some point have to go in and add up all the tornadoes over the last 10 years by month and adjust this graphic. But the last time this survey was done, you can see how April really stands out as being the month with almost 60 more tornadoes than number 2 on the list, which is March. So this is the time of the year. This is the type of system where you could have some longer track tornadoes. Again, that risk of tornadoes that I showed you earlier, it is highest over the areas that are a level 4 risk to our north, but it's enough here over North Georgia, and with that hashed line on there. EF2 tornadoes do tend to be a little bit longer tracked than an EF0 that just kind of bumps down, does a little bit of damage for a mile or two, and then lifts back up. So you can definitely get some longer track tornadoes. All right, Josh asking, good question. He says he appreciates, I'm sorry? Yes, yeah, we've been talking about that. Yeah, Patrick Pete just stopped by to make sure that I knew about the tornado watch, and luckily I did. I got an alert. I got an alert on my phone from the First Alert Weather app for that. Josh says he appreciates the ongoing coverage. We'll be live throughout the evening. So here's the deal. At 10 o'clock, you can find us on Peachtree TV from 10 to 11. Patrick and I will be on. At 11 o'clock, Patrick and I will be on Atlanta News First. At midnight, we'll be right back here on ANF Plus for a good 10 minutes or so, depending on what's going on, unless there are tornado warnings. At any point between now and the rest of the night, if there are tornado warnings, we will be on Atlanta News First, letting you know about that for the duration of the tornado warning. But even if there are not tornado warnings, at midnight, we'll be on giving you an update. At 1 o'clock in the morning, it'll either be Patrick and I, or it'll be Ella, or Ella and Rodney. We're having what we call crossover tonight in the Weather Center. So we're staying till they come in. We're staying late. They come in early. We have the Southeast largest weather team, and that gives us an advantage to be able to have multiple people here at all times. So we will have that crossover happen sometime after midnight, and you will have coverage throughout the duration of this event. All right. Sounds good. Tanya was asking about the black line. Again, those black hashes on there, that means that there is risk of having EF2 or greater tornadoes. EF2 tornadoes have winds between 111 and 135 miles an hour. All right, so have a good night. Stay safe. Tell your friends about that First Alert Weather app, and we'll catch up real soon. Take it easy.